Greetings and welcome, people. Get straight down to it. You've probably noticed in quite a few of my vlogs that I reference other videos from other motovloggers that I've watched, or things that I've seen in television programs or the media, other parts of the media. And this and the hopefully following vlog that I'm planning on making, both on this run, are in that vein. And I recently watched some vlogs from the Missenden Flyer, where it's a regular vlog series that he does, or not vlog, but video series that he does, where he goes through I think it's predominantly a UK motorcycle newspaper / magazine. It's published every week, but it's in a newspaper format, and he basically gets his month's worth of motorcycle news together and basically just goes through various articles that he's found that are of interest. And there was one article in the most recent one of those motorcycle news vlogs that he did. I'll put a link in the description below to the vlog, to the video. And it was something that I'm hoping I'm reading it or looking at it incorrectly, but he seemed to be concerned about it as well. Now, in most countries in the world, certainly most, shall we say, Anglo-centric countries in the world, or Eurocentric countries in the world, it is illegal to drive a car, and practically impossible to ride a bike, or certainly illegal to drive a car while using a handheld mobile phone, i.e. basically holding the phone in your hand, texting and or making a call, holding the phone to your ear. Even if you've got it on speakerphone and you're not holding it to your ear, the law specifically states you cannot hold the device in your hand. So obviously it's become very, very common for people now to have hands-free systems in their car, and many of which are Bluetooth type devices. You basically have an earpiece or possibly something that hooks up to the stereo, or actually built into the stereo system of your car, that your phone connects to, and basically if you get a call or you want to make a call, you can do it through the controls on the car audio system. And obviously people are doing so because, as far as most people are aware, that is considered safer than using a handheld phone, which is fair enough. Not only with a handheld device, not only are you conducting a phone call, a conversation, but you have one hand committed to holding onto the phone or texting or whatever. And so again, if you have a hands-free device or system in your car, that's supposed to be a lot safer. And what this article is talking about is that apparently there is a parliamentary committee that has been looking into such things, and they are now stating that research has recently been carried out that now claims to show that hands-free systems are no safer than a handheld phone. Now, that sounds counterintuitive to me, but what do I know? I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not a highly paid, totally disconnected from reality politician. So it's entirely possible, sometime in the not too distant future, that the government may implement a law to ban any use of phones in cars. Apparently, just the simple act of holding a telephone conversation while driving is sufficient to distract the driver. Now, there's several worrying aspects of this. Is if they're saying the simple act of holding a conversation is enough to dangerously distract a driver, are they then going to make it illegal for the driver to converse or interact in any way with any passengers in the car, and B, manipulate or work with the stereo controls or the heater controls? So basically, where does it end? Now, one thing to bear in mind is that here in the UK, certainly up until recently, the vast and overwhelming majority of motor vehicles on the road are manual shift. So you need to have it's necessary. Use my words. It's necessary to remove your, in the UK, left hand from the steering wheel periodically to change gear. You can't avoid it. So where is this going to go to as far as car drivers are concerned, if they now turn around and say they're going to make it illegal for vehicle operators to utilise any form of mobile device, communication device, whether handheld or hands-free, where is that going to leave the likes of us motovloggers? Because obviously, certainly in my case and in most other motovloggers' cases, this helmet has a Bluetooth communication system built into, or not built into it, installed in it, which is what I'm talking to you now on, and that communication system is connected via Bluetooth to my phone, which is what I'm recording my commentary on. So if they're going to say that vehicle operators are not allowed to use handheld or even hands-free devices, is that by sheer coincidence going to mean that people who do what I'm doing now and what many of you guys that watch these sort of things do, is that going to make this activity illegal? Now, I might be reading far more into this than is actually intended by the committee or whatever. And it may also be that they're proposing these or putting forward these findings to test the water, as it were, to see if people go, yeah, fair enough, you've probably got a point. Then they'll form the opinion that people will accept whatever tightening of the laws and regulations they decide to implement. And there's often been the case in the past that various government proposals and things have been leaked, shall we say. I believe deliberately leaked by the relevant departments to do just that, to gauge the reaction. If the reaction is mostly negative, then whatever the proposal is will be quietly shelved and maybe looked at later on, modified or whatever. But if people just go, as I say, yeah, you've probably got a point, then they'll act on it. But what they actually implement sometimes is far more than is actually needed to bring about the result they're looking for. So as I say, it could end up being the case that by the simple fact of having a Bluetooth comm system installed in my crash helmet, connected to my phone, not necessarily for the purposes of being in contact with people via phone, but simply for recording my commentary. Oh, excuse me. As I ride along, that could end up being against the law. And obviously, the way most helmet comm systems are, there's something that's stuck on the outside of the crash helmet, so it's fairly obvious. And especially if you've got a camera, as I have, stuck on the other side of the crash helmet over there. It's fairly obvious what activity is going on. What's this person doing? Is there a cyclist? Cyclist, yeah. That's not actually a cycle path, guys. Oh well. So this is where we are at the moment. At the moment, as I say, it's illegal in this country, in the UK, and I think in the States and in Australia and New Zealand and many other places. I'm not sure how many countries have these regulations. It is illegal to operate a motor vehicle while simultaneously operating a handheld communications device. And where that leaves some of our police officers, who sometimes ride in single crewed police cars, and they have to operate their radios, etc., and their lights and sirens. Surely that's just as much of a problem under that committee's thinking as any mobile phone use. So could we be seeing sometime in the not too distant future, I'll use my words again, the effective banning of motovlogging? Now I suspect that a lot of people, if that does in fact become the case, it might be possible to circumvent that, or at least avoid breaking that law, if that does become law, by installing some kind of wired microphone that only allows you to record your voice on either the mobile phone or some other voice recording system. And I suspect it's possible to get some kind of Bluetooth-based voice recorder, audio recorder, to use instead of the phone. But then where does that leave things like sat-navs and that type of thing? Obviously, when you're riding a bike, yes, you can look at the a sat-nav on the handlebar. Yes, you can look at that, but surely that's just as dangerous in the aspects of what this committee is talking about, distracting the driver. I would rather hear direction instructions through a headset, than have to look down and try and work out where on the screen the turning I want is coming up. And it's quite bad already that a lot of people are talking about implementing zero tolerance speed limits, which means that a lot of people will end up driving around looking at their speedos rather than looking at the road ahead. It just seems to me that the war on the motorist or the motor vehicle operator never stops. So only time will tell whether anything actually comes of that. The article just mentioned research. It didn't specify any particular papers, didn't give any links, didn't say who conducted the research or who funded it. Oh yeah, we're going the right way. Good, good, good. So So I'd be interested to see the exact nature of this research and who did it. Quite often people that are asked to carry out research by various bodies, they're not 100%, shall we say, impartial. They definitely have a particular viewpoint, an axe to grind. Yeah, so they may be conducting the research from the point of view that is going to give them the result they want, rather than an impartial and unbiased result. And again, maybe I'm a bit naive to be wanting something like that or expecting something like that. Good Lord, it's busy out today. Now, I'm not suggesting we shouldn't do everything that is sensibly possible to improve safety. But the key word is sensibly. I cannot see how it is possible for hands-free systems in cars can be just as dangerous as handheld. But again, without seeing this research or what premise it was based on, it's almost impossible to determine whether it's valid in any way or not. I can't see how it can be. And again, I'd like to see what the basis of it was. So yeah. So I think I'm going to leave that one there for now. Any thoughts and comments are welcome. You stay there, thank you very much. Anybody who's got any more knowledge about this this issue, this committee report, these committee findings, maybe put a comment in with a link or make a vlog of your own and explain how this is all based. Because, as I say, at the moment it may just possibly affect hands-free systems in cars, but it may be that any legislation that comes out of it is worded so that it affects is my camera pointing in the wrong direction? Affects people doing this. Can't remember now whether I'm in a 30 or a 40. I think I'm in a 40. So yeah. Interested to hear any thoughts or views on that. So as I say, I think I'll leave that one there for now. I'll carry on with my ride. Say thank you very much for taking a look. It's not meant to be a rant, it's just asking the question, so shouldn't be taken as a rant of any sort. So thank you very much again for watching, and I'll speak to you again on the next one. Cheerio for now. Bye. Didn't say turn, so I assume I'm going straight ahead. Very nice properties around here. Very nice indeed.
In 300 meters, turn right to stay on Itchiner Road.